Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my first draft of the 25-26 season. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Now you must be wondering, how on earth is FPL live? Well, spoiler alert, it's not live, but thanks to our friends over at fpl.team, I'm able to construct a draft and basically fill this void during the preseason before the Premier League fixtures go live and before the game itself goes live. So, whilst your favourite FPL content creators are away on holiday, you've got me to keep you entertained. And what we've got here on the right hand side are the projected player prices as shown on fpl.team. And also, there's some positional changes as well that will be factored in to this draft as well. So, yeah, well, look, without further ado, let's get straight into it and construct this first draft of the 25-26 season. First and foremost, going to start off with the goalkeeping situation. So, I want a budget goalkeeper, and looking at the options that are available, time and time again, it's always the 4.5 goalkeeper that offers the most value in terms of bang for buck. And this time around, if we sort it by ownership at the moment, just to see who are the popular picks for those that are using fpl.team. So we can see David Raya, no big surprise there. Cheap entry into the Arsenal defence is the most popular owned player. You've got Sells, who had a cracking season for Nottingham Forest. Pickford, who just is one of those players that, despite the team he plays for, he'll rack up the points. Got Martinez, Henderson, but the player that I'm going to pick as my first FPL draft pick of the 25-26 season, he's all the way at the bottom. I can't even find him. There he is. It's Kelleher, who recently transferred over to Brentford from Liverpool. So let's just get him added in here. And of course, Flecken has transferred away from Brentford, and then you've got Valdemarson as well as the other goalkeeper. So unless Valdemarson somehow takes the jersey off Kelleher for number one spot, I think it's safe to say Kelleher is the go-to pick there. I'm also going to pick my other goalkeeper as well, who I've already given a name check to, and it is Valdemarson. So not too dissimilar to my draft actually from the 24-25 season, where I had Flecken as a 4.5 and Valdemarson as a 4.0, so that got fair coverage there. Of course, Thomas Frank is not going to be there for the 25-26 season, and many other players may not be there come August. So we don't know what kind of Brentford team this will be. And of course, I'm picking this team without knowing what the fixtures are at the time of recording. About a week from now, we will get the fixtures and I'll do a subsequent update. But I think right now, no nonsense picks. Kelleher 4.5, Valdemarson 4.0. They are the initial picks in my FPL first draft team. So let's go to the defense now and just look at it by uh, ownership first of all. So you can see you've got Gvardiol, Saliba, Van Dijk, Kirkez as popular picks for the 25-26 season among the engaged managers of FPL.team. So the player I'm going to pick, I know Gvardiol is there. No doubt I'll probably reconnect with him at some point. Might basically have him in my first game week one team come August. But I'm going to pick Ait Nouri. Now with Ait Nouri in particular, in that Manchester City team, I think there's so much potential for him to really hit the ground running, provided that he starts and provided that he can basically maintain form throughout the season. If I'm not mistaken, with Ait Nouri as well, with that left back, left wing back position that he plays, Man City haven't really had a specialist in that position since I think Benjamin Mendy left. You've had other players who've filled the void as bit part options, but really as a specialist in that position, I think he would be the default starter there. So yeah, with him, you look at his price, projected to be 6.0 million. And then you're, Gvardiol, who's also same price as well. So I think no doubt if you want a bit of upside, Nuri would be the pick. If you want to keep it safe, then Gvardiol would be your pick there. So the other player I'm going to pick in defence, just get it confirmed here, and I've got no doubt he'll be a popular pick. There he is. You've got Munoz of Crystal Palace, who of course won the FA Cup against Manchester City. So with him, I think ownership fairly reasonable, under 20%. No doubt that will increase, provided that Crystal Palace have a good start to the season as well. So I think he is a no-nonsense pick for me. And I think the other player I'm going to get, I clearly need some sort of Arsenal cover. I think Arsenal's defence should still be fairly robust. Of course, you've got Liverpool, got Kirkes of Bournemouth, got Forest cover, Lenkovic. But I think an Arsenal defender as a safe pick for now, I think makes perfect sense. So in comes Saliba. Of course, you've got Gabriel as well. I believe he's still injured at the time of recording. Probably would be fit come game week 1. But I'm almost trying to do like a set and forget first draft. Not that I'd not change it, but like just what would a sensible draft look like for me essentially. Now, the other 2 picks I'm gonna pick now, if I just confirm the position, so in midfield, you've got the popular picks right up there because it's sorted by position. But the one that really catches my eye, if I can just find him, where is he? There he is. He's now at Manchester United. So I'm going to transfer in Cunha, who you can see there, he's an 8.0 midfielder. Now you must be wondering, why has he been potentially reclassified as a midfielder? Well, you could just simply go to his positioning last season. You can see that attacking midfielder 14 times, support striker 10 times, out wide and on the left as well. Only played centre forward 6 times, according to transfermarket.com. So there is a significant possibility that Cunha could be reclassified, and it's why fpl.team are projecting that. And I think if he is reclassified as a midfielder at Manchester United, where they haven't got European football this season and they're basically at their lowest, he's no doubt he's going to give them some sort of uplift. So in he comes. Now, the other player that I'm going to go for, again, a midfielder who I think will also be reclassified, and so think fpl.team, it's Marmoush of Manchester City. So if I just bring Marmoush up here, you can see that with Marmoush, 16 times for Man City last season, played out on the right, attacking midfield on the left wing, right wing, support striker, and then you've got centre forward as well. So the vast majority of times he wasn't playing as an out-and-out striker for different reasons. So I think it's safe to say that he'll also be reclassified. Whether he gets regular starts with the new intake of Man City players remains to be seen, but I think he is a definite pick that is worth considering for sure, without me knowing what the fixtures are. And really, of course, Man City will have tired legs as well after the Club World Cup as well. But I think just in this first draft, just to show a bit of balance, I think he makes sense. So the next player, again, I wanted to demonstrate what the positional changes were. So in they came. And yeah, Mohamed Salah, no nonsense pick. He'll be at Liverpool for the 25-26 season. So in he comes. And just for the time being, he'll be the default captain, set and forget for the time being. I also going to pick another midfielder who, if I just get him by popular picks among the engaged fpl.team users, you've got Salah, Mbumo, Palmer, got Rodgers. It's Saka, who I also want to get. Of course, Saka had an injury last season, and then after that he recovered form wasn't really the same, so hopefully he can hit the ground running and get back to where he was a year from now. I think he makes perfect sense for this initial draft. There's another midfielder I want to get in as well, who I would definitely start. I'm just going to switch this so that he is a starter, and his price will be a lot more different to what it was last season. So transfer in, and if I can just get him there he is. Morgan Rogers, projected to be £6.5 million. Again, for many FPL managers last season, he was the go-to sub-1 fifth midfielder, and even at 6.5 million, I think that's fairly reasonable. I definitely want to get him in as well. So that leaves me with 28.5 million in the bank, with 5 more spots to fill. Spoiler alert, can't get Haaland in with this first draft. So again, balance is the focus for this draft here. So the other player I'm going to pick, now I wanted some sort of Chelsea cover, and it would have been Palmer had it not been Saka. But the other player who catches my eye, so if I sort this by ownership, which it is, just going all the way down, there he is, Delap. So very interesting season at Ipswich. Basically, a team that was doomed from the start, yet he definitely impressed with the goals that he scored. Again, if you can't get Palmer in, I think Delap makes perfect sense. Projected to be £6.5 million. And of course, you've got lots of other forward options for Chelsea. So he'll be up against it for sure. If he's projected to start, I think he is a no-nonsense pick, potentially a cheat code at £6.5 million. Now, just imagine what he can do with the likes of Cole Palmer in the team supporting him. So, yeah, in he comes without really giving it further thought. So that's leaving me with £22 million. So need to get another striker in to complete this 11th, and I'll focus on the remaining subs. So, of course, from the options up top, just looking at who we've got Isak, got Wood, Watkins, Wissar, can't get Haaland, got Evanilson, Mateta, Welbeck, Havertz. So I think one club that's really missing here that I need cover from is Newcastle United. So Isak hopefully will pick up from where he left off last season. The honourable mentions really for the picks that we've got in the forward position, if I just sort it by forwards, Wood, who had a good 24-25, but was it a flash in the pan? Remains to be seen. Got Watkins, who's just been consistent for a number of years now. Wissar, who could be weakened if we get a number of players leaving Brentford, so question mark for him now. So that leaves me with £13 million with 3 spots to fill. And I can't have just dud subs on the bench. I need at least one playing starter, as it were. So I'm going to go to defenders. And I think this, to be fair, the prices have been fairly reliable for fpl.team over the past few years. Of course, they're not going to get the prices 100% correct, but the one player who I'm looking to get as a 4.5 million, just confirmed, really, it's a choice between Consat and Burn. I think Burn with the Champions League football could potentially be £5 million. So regular starter, I think that would be a bit of a difficult one to justify. But if it's not Burn, it's going to be Konsa. I don't think Konsa will be 5.0 million. And you got Mazraoui, Mikolenko, and the like. But I'm going to pick Dan Burn for now, albeit it could be a bit questionable. And that, of course, leaves me with 8.5 million for a forward and a defender. So really defensive options, it would probably be like a dud sub 4.0 defender from a newly promoted team. And I haven't acquainted myself with the newly promoted team defenders. Just as a placeholder, I'm going to pick Keane, who played a few matches last season for Everton. No idea if he's going to be a starter in 25-26, but just a placeholder for a 4.0 that would come to the fore during pre-season. So that leaves me with that final spot to fill, £4.5 million, and it'll be a forward. And the forward that I have in mind is someone who's already played in the Premier League, has played a few matches last season as well, albeit I think he may not be £4.5 million, but let's see what happens. If he is, I definitely would want to pick him, provided that they don't sign another player. And you can probably see his name on there. It's, yep, there we go. Ashley Barnes, £4.5 million from Burnley. And I think he's played at least a dozen games in the Championship last season. And if he is £4.5 million, he makes the odd sub appearance here and there in the Premier League, then, fair play. And if you're going for a 3-5-2 setup, I think Ashley Barnes makes perfect sense as a sub option. One of the challenges I had in the 24-25 season, also in the 23-24 season, was because they cheapened the prices so much, I just lost so many points on the bench. So I definitely want at least one regular starter as sub 1. And then with sub 2 and sub 3, I'm happy to have players, at least one from a newly promoted team who's a 4.0 as a sub 3, and then one of the players, a 4.5 forward, if there never is one, let's be honest, who I could pick as well. So yeah, this is my first draft for the 25-26 season. Important caveats, don't know what the fixtures are, and definitely won't be the final draft ahead of game week 1. I think the players that really interest me here specifically are the ones I've already called out with the Kelleher, Valdemarson goalkeeping combination. I think Kelleher has really waited a very long time for a regular starting berth in the Premier League. And if I'm not mistaken, the Republic of Ireland are still in contention to qualify for the World Cup. So no doubt he'd want to put in a good show from August till the summer. So I think this could be a breakout season for Kelleher for sure, provided he gets regular starts and provided that Brentford pick a very good replacement for Frank, and not all the players, they're not just leaving en masse. But the Valdemars and Kelleher goalkeeping combination, I'm just surprised. Look at that, it's 1% owned, so a bit of a cheat code there in some respects. The defense, just bringing up the positions of players I've missed out on. Yeah, Kirkes, I think he would be a very popular pick. Is he going to be 5? Might be 5.5. Who knows? And yeah, the Forest players will be very popular as well. I think Ait Nouri, I picked him for a bit of upside, but I think really the other option who will probably have higher ownership is Gvardiol of Man City. You've got Munoz, no doubt will be a popular pick as well, and Arsenal defender for sure, Saliba, or if like Timber or White are likely to get starts, they'll probably be in the mix as well. But I think the midfield is quite balanced and quite resolute here. You've got Mohamed Salah, you've got Saka, Marmoush, Cunha, Rodgers. All of these players really proved their worth last season. And then you've got Isak up top and Delap as well as a potential differential. And yeah, the bench is very weak, but I've explained my reasons behind that. I'm just going to sort it by all players now and looking at any big misses. Of course, I haven't got Haaland, but then is he worth his price tag this season? Who knows? Mbumo, wherever he goes, I think he'll definitely be an interesting pick. Might be a 50-50 between having Mbumo and Cunha. Who knows? And yeah, David Raya, I think just from the goalkeeping side, I just, time and time again, I go for cheap entry into a premium goalkeeper, but then really it is the 4.5s who will offer you the most value during the season. So I think last season it was really Matt Sells who was that pick. And the reason I didn't pick Matt Sells was Forest, the other goalkeeper, I think it's Miguel, I've forgotten his name now, but there was a question mark on whether Matt Sells would be a regular starter. And the thinking basically from my side was, well, Valdemarsen's 4.0, Flecken's 4.5. If one or the other gets switched, I've got cover. Whereas in the case of Forest, I wasn't willing to get two Forest 4.5 goalkeepers. So yeah, lost out ultimately, but it is what it is there. But fair play if you popped onto the Forest bandwagon early on. No idea how they'll be this season, but yeah, they'll have European football, so that will be another distraction as well that they'd have to overcome. Yeah, no Liverpool defensive cover in this team. I think Mohamed Salah should be more than sufficient for the time being. And yeah, I think not bad start considering it's the first draft of the season. You're probably, if you're watching this video, then no doubt you're slightly interested and curious to see what kind of drafts you can set up. And if you've just come across this and you're not bothered, then just go back to sleep and you can log into FPL when the game goes live. Talking of which, when does a FPL go live? So I've written an article that I'll put in the description of this video on when I think it will go live. There are certain steps that take place before the game launches, and I normally make a video, I think a couple of weeks just before it goes live when the initial steps take place. I'll probably do that video again, but if you want an indication, read the article in the description box. So there you have it. That is the first draft for the 25-26 season. Keen to hear your thoughts. Have I got the balance right? Have I got the balance wrong? Do I really need Haaland from the get-go? And can you really justify having Haaland and Mohamed Salah for the start of the season? And yeah, if there's something different, also the pricing as well and the positional changes on fpl.team. Is it something that you think is problematic, or do you think they've got it right? I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on that as well. As always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best.